the death of comfort. I am not here to comfort you. I am here to awaken you. You, the modern man, the modern woman, the human being entangled in noise, watching others live while forgetting how to exist. You are praised for being agreeable, you are rewarded for being silent, and you are dying. Not from war, not from famine, but from comfort. You scroll for hours and call it rest. You compare for hours and call it ambition. And when your spirit aches, you medicate instead of meditate. Let me say it plainly. You have become a stranger to suffering. And so, you have become a stranger to yourself. You ask me what to do with your pain. I ask you what you are without it. You treat suffering as an error. I tell you it is the forge of becoming. A life without suffering is a life without depth. You are not made to be liked. You were made to be known, and first by yourself. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. If your days feel empty, it is not because you have failed. It is because you have not yet chosen why. Comfort is killing you slowly, and I am here to resurrect the part of you that dares to struggle for something greater. You are not behind. You are unawakened. Become who you are, not a slogan. Not a quote to post and forget, a command, a fire, a rebellion against everything you were told to be. And yet I see you, sitting in your room at night, phone glowing, scrolling through curated lives, wondering why you feel like you're always one step behind. They bought the house, they got the body, they have the lover, they launched the brand, they're happy. Or so it seems. And you feel like you're still at the beginning, stuck, behind, invisible. But I say this to you. You are not behind. You are simply unawakened. The illusion of being behind is a sickness of the modern mind. It comes from believing life is a straight road with fixed destinations. Graduate at 22, career by 25, married by 30, rich by 35. Dead inside by 40. Who wrote this timeline? And why do you believe it? You are not behind. You are outside their map. And that is where the real ones are forged. You see, those who awaken later often awaken louder. Their suffering was not a delay, it was a sharpening. Their silence was not weakness, it was preparation. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. But if you've not found your why, you will drown in the noise of everyone else's. The girl who changes careers at 35 and builds an empire. The man who can finally leave the path laid for him and chooses solitude. The parent who claims their identity after years of hiding in sacrifice. They are not behind. They are dangerous because they remembered themselves. What the world calls late bloomers, I call the ones who refused to bloom in artificial light. You do not owe anyone your timeline. You do not owe the algorithm your joy. You owe yourself your awakening. And that doesn't come on schedule. It comes when you are finally done pretending. So when the ache comes, that aching question, what am I even doing with my life? Know this. It is not a warning. It is not a failure. It is your soul knocking on the door. And if you are brave enough to answer, you will no longer worry about being behind, because you'll finally be ahead of who you used to be. And that is the only race that matters. The pain you carry is your power. You want peace, but you treat pain like poison. You ask me how to avoid it. You ask me how to silence it. But I do not teach avoidance. I teach transformation. Because your pain, that dull ache behind your eyes, that exhaustion in your chest, that quiet grief no one sees, it is not your enemy. It is the most honest thing you have. The world has convinced you that pain is a flaw. They say fix it. They say medicate it, hide it, don't make others uncomfortable. But let me ask you something. Where do you think strength is born? It is not born in comfort. It is not born in constant pleasure. It is born in contact with your own suffering. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning in the suffering. Modern society teaches you to sedate your symptoms, not decode their meanings, but the pain you carry is trying to introduce you to yourself. Let me speak plainly. Who cries in the shower before showing up to her 9-to-5 job, the man who scrolls through happy families at night, wondering why his chest feels hollow, the one who is surrounded by people, yet feels unseen. These are not signs of weakness, they are invitations to go inward. Because what you suppress today will shape you in silence tomorrow. Do not look away from your wounds. Study them. Sit with them. Bleed if you must, but do it consciously. Because if you avoid pain, you avoid growth. And if you avoid growth, you will die with your potential still sealed inside you. There is no resurrection without crucifixion, no becoming without burning, no strength without scars. The goal is not to remove pain. The goal is to outgrow your need to run from it. So next time pain visits you, don't ask, how do I escape this? Ask, what is this trying to make of me? Because pain is not your punishment. It is your pathway. The lie of the algorithm and the death of original thought. You believe you are free because you have choices. You believe you are informed because you have access. You believe you are thinking because you are consuming. But I see the truth. You are not thinking, you are being fed. You wake up and the algorithm decides your mood, your beliefs, your self-worth, your anger and your desires. You are not scrolling, you are being shaped. You no longer ask, what do I believe? You ask, what is trending? Do you not see the slavery in that? The platform does not reward depth, it rewards outrage, it rewards performance, it rewards conformity, dressed in aesthetic rebellion. Original thought is not dead because it was silenced, it is dead because you abandoned the discomfort of thinking for yourself. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often, and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. But you don't want to be lonely. You want to belong, even if it costs you your truth. You echo the same scripts, the same language, the same outrage de jour, until your voice becomes a mirror for somebody else's ideas. This is not enlightenment. This is spiritual extinction. You are drowning in content and starving for conviction. You are fluent in opinions and mute in original thought. You fear being wrong, so that you never speak your truth. You fear being seen, so you only post what is already acceptable. But a soul that cannot offend cannot awaken. A mind that never risks being misunderstood never thinks at all. So here is your choice. Continue consuming until your instincts rot, or confront the fear of being radically original. Because thinking is not safe. It is an act of war against the forces that want you docile. And only when you begin to think for yourself will you begin to live for yourself. Loneliness is a holy space. You say you are lonely. You whisper it like a curse. You carry it like a shame. But I ask you, have you ever considered that your loneliness is secret? Because modern society has sold you a lie that to be alone is to be unloved, that to be still is to be irrelevant, that to be outside of the group is to be a failure. And so you rush to fill every quiet moment. You chase crowds that don't know you. You cling to connections that dilute you just to avoid sitting with the echo of your own thoughts. But let me tell you this. The greatest awakenings happen in solitude. The strongest minds are not born in rooms full of noise, but in rooms where no one claps. And the truest self cannot emerge when you are performing for company. You call it isolation. I call it incubation. The cocoon is lonely too, but without it, the wings never come. You are not being punished. You are being pulled inward. And yes, loneliness will strip you. It will burn away the need to be needed. It will silence the applause you once relied on. It will confront you with your own unedited self. But what emerges from that silence is someone no longer built for approval, but built for truth. Do you want to be like the masses, constantly surrounded, yet internally starving? Or do you want to become rare? Alone, perhaps, but sovereign. The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly. The more you grow, the less they will understand you. And that is the cost of flight. So if you are lonely, do not run, but sit with it. Speak with it. Let it shape you. Because the soul that has made peace with solitude is the soul that can never be enslaved again. You were not born to please the herd. The herd is safe. The herd is accepted. The herd is never alone. But the herd is also blind. They do not think. They echo. They do not rise. They conform. They do not live. They perform. And yet you want their approval. You want their applause, their affection, their invitation to belong. But I must tell you something that you may not want to hear. The herd will never love what it cannot control. You spend your life trying not to offend. You shrink your voice to fit their comfort. You dress, speak, and dream according to what is normal. Because you were told that being different means being alone. But what if I told you? You are not different to be excluded. You are different to lead. The world does not need more copies. It needs souls who can withstand being misunderstood. The individual has always had to struggle to not be overwhelmed by the tribe. They will laugh at you. They will call you arrogant. Too much, too intense, too deep. They will say, you've changed. And you will be tempted to go back, to silence your brilliance, to shrink for their comfort. But remember, they hated the fire because it reminded them they were cold. To live for the herd is to die in pieces. Your vision too bold, your truth too sharp, your soul too free. They want you soft, silent, shapeless. But that is not why you were born. You were born to become, not to belong. So I say this to you. Stop apologizing for seeing the world differently. Stop editing your existence to make yourself palatable. Stop performing humility just to avoid rejection. True humility is not shrinking, it is standing tall without needing to prove. The herd will not follow you when you rise, but the right ones will find you at the top. Love, loss, and the will to continue. You loved, you gave, you lost. And now you wander through your days like a ghost with a heartbeat, breathing, but not truly alive. You do not speak of it, but I see it in you. The heaviness, the echo of a name you no longer say aloud. So let me say what others won't. You do not heal by forgetting. You heal by transforming. Modern love is fragile, not because people are weak, but because they confuse attachment with meaning and silence with peace. They say, move on, just focus on yourself. But no one tells you how to live when your heart has become an open wound. And so you numb. You fill your time with distractions. You pretend. You flirt with new people who never truly see you. And deep down you ask, will I ever feel whole again? Yes, but not by going backward. And not by replacing the person. You will become whole again by returning to yourself, the one who existed before the loss, and the one now reborn because of it. Let me be clear, the end of love is not the end of life, it is the beginning of self-initiation. What does not kill me makes me stronger. Not stronger in your smile, not stronger in pretending, stronger in your ability to carry pain with dignity, stronger in your understanding of what love truly is, not possession, but elevation. And those who broke you, they were not your ending. They were your excavation. They cracked you open so you could finally meet your truth without illusion. You are not unloved, you are untamed, and those who demand you shrink away will always mistake your power for a flaw. Do not harden, do not become bitter. Let love expand you, not break you. And above all, do not confuse your grief with a reason to stop living. The world needs the version of you that rises, not in spite of heartbreak, but through it. The unshakable lie, living with the eternal return. Imagine this. A demon visits you in the stillness of the night and says, "This life you are living now, with all its pain, all its choices, all its joys and regrets, you will live it again. Not once, not twice, but forever. Every breath, every sorrow, every conversation, all of it, exactly as it happened, returning again and again, without end." Would you weep? Would you scream? Would you fall to your knees and beg for escape? Or would you rise and begin to live in such a way that you could say, "Yes, let it return. I would choose it again." This is the eternal return, not a superstition, a mirror, a test of the quality of your life. Because if you live each day in avoidance, submission, and fear, then the idea of reliving your life forever becomes a curse. But if you live with courage, honesty, and depth, then you will welcome the return like an old friend. Live as though you would have to live the same life over again, down to every detail. Let this thought guide your every action. Ask yourself right now, would I speak the truth in this moment if I had to live it again? Would I love this person the same way if it were the only love I'd ever known? Would I still be silent, still stay small, if I knew this moment would echo for eternity? This is not a philosophy for the bookshelf. This is a challenge to your entire way of being. Do not seek comfort. Seek intensity. Seek truth. Seek to live in a way so full of purpose that if fate came and whispered, "You must do this all again," you would smile, not from delusion, but from integrity, that this is the unshakable life, the sovereign soul, the one who has stared into the abyss and chosen to build something sacred within it. So I leave you with this. Don't aim to be remembered. Aim to be worthy of repetition. And if your life is not yet the one you would choose again, then let this be the day you begin shaping it. Not for the algorithm, not for the herd, not even for legacy, but because this is your only chance to answer the eternal question. What if this was forever? Letters from the abyss. And now you have heard me. Not the man, but the voice behind the pain, the architect of inner revolt, the whisperer to those who walk alone. You live in a world that avoids suffering. I walked through one that made a religion of it, and still I say, he who climbs upon the highest mountains laughs at all tragedies, real or imagined. Because when you rise above the noise, above the trends, the rejections, the shadows, you begin to see what this life was always trying to make of you. Not perfect, but precise. Not happy, but holy. Not liked, but liberated. You want clarity. Then be willing to be misunderstood. You want strength. Then suffer with dignity. You want purpose. Then kill the parts of you built only for applause. You won't wait for the world to change. Become the force it cannot ignore. And if you ever feel lost again, as you surely will, return to this. Live as if you had to live this life again, exactly the same, for all eternity. Let that thought be your compass. Let that weight be your guide. Let that abyss become your teacher. Until then, remain wild, remain awake, and whatever you do, become who you are.